V Mart Retail, very strong quarter. And Anand Agarwal, the CFO of the company, Johnson, right now to talk about the quarter gone by and the outlook ahead. To my mind, at least, Anand, the quarter seems strong. Now, one or two estimates would have thought that is it marginally below, if you will, based on the heightened expectations. But I thought the numbers look very strong. Now, my question is, how did you judge the quarter? Was it on account of festive season, or are there linear trends which make you believe that the good times might continue?
Hi, good morning. I think
this
it's
is Niraj here, Anand. Thank you for joining in.
Hi, Niraj. So I believe it's a mix of three things. Number one is definitely it's a good festive period, a good winter Diwali. Although winters were slightly delayed, but definitely I think winters played a good part in quarter three always is a good growth quarter for us. Second is, I think we've been doing a lot of changes internally in terms of how we operate, and that is a lot of work which has already gone in the last 1.5 years. And the results of that are now beginning to, come up. So a large part of what we are seeing in terms of the numbers, which is an outcome, is the hard work that the team has put in the last 1.5 years. And I think the good times should continue to roll. And I think we have not yet completed what all that we have started. And the third part also is that there is some amount of tailwind in the rural markets. There had been a lot of latency, if I say, in the last 2-3 years post COVID. But in the last 9 months to 12 months, we have been seeing some amount of recovery, especially in the tier 2, tier 3 segments, in the rural segments, also with the bout of monsoon, which had been quite favorable this year. So my guess is that we should look at even better performance going forward. I still remain cautiously optimistic, but I think in terms of what we have been trying to do and what we look ahead in terms of what all we have planned, I think there is still some good room for growth ahead.
Okay. You've now had what, 4 or 5 quarters of what, let's for lack of a better word, term it a recovery, right? Now my question is, when I hear you speak about better times ahead, there is also a base effect that comes into play. You had some very good growth on the margins and thereby consequently on the bottom line in quarter 3, at least, that I saw. Do you expect a good trend of growth on operational metrics and margins for a better part of 2025, or will the base effect come into play?
There will definitely be some challenges in terms of the base effect. The last year definitely had the growth was on the back of slightly lower, smaller numbers in the previous year. But I think the momentum that we have created for ourselves in terms of the operational efficiency should still, give us some more growth. We are still optimistic on mid to high single-digit growth in the coming quarters. I'm not seeing this as a one-off. There is definitely going to be a base impact. There's definitely going to be pressure on margins as well. So operating leverage is not something that is easy to come by. It requires a lot of discipline, etc. And it's not something, which we can just aspire and win. So there's a lot of work which will get into it, but we are still hopeful that we should be able to keep this momentum going.
Mr. Agarwal, and good morning, Tamanna here. Great to speak with you on NDTV Profit, and we hope to hear more from V Mart going forward as well. I'm just wondering, when right now for traditional brick and mortar retail, quick commerce has become the biggest problem, and especially discount pricing. What is the strategy here that is working? And then, of course, I'll come to more details on LimeRoad numbers, etc. But just want to get this broad thought from you.
So quick commerce definitely is a market disruptor for almost all parts of retail, and we are seeing increasingly more new categories getting added there. And we also have our strategy around how we want to address that growing segment of the market. But at the same time, quick commerce still remains largely a very urban and a tier 1 phenomena. We are largely more present in tier 2, tier 3 markets, where the customers still have not really taken up even to online e-commerce. So there is a small segment which gets into the online e-commerce, but there's a very, very large segment which still gets into, brick and mortar retail. And that is something, that is an area that we've really, played our cards reasonably well. The added part also is that this part of the market still remains very largely unorganized. So even with all the players, all the kinds of retailers that you see in the market, combined, if we combine all of them, we still do not occupy more than 20% of the organized retail space. So there's a lot of headroom for growth in terms of all the formats. I'm not writing off quick commerce for value apparel retail. We still want to play that game, but I still believe that in the markets where we operate, we have larger room to grow in the organized to unorganized conversion.
So your conversion rate has also come down a bit. Any expectations on that? And a quick word, because we're just short on time today and we hope for a longer conversation in March. But a quick word on LimeRoad. LimeRoad profitability, are you on the path to it? Losses have reduced significantly?
It's been a 7th straight quarter of reduction in LimeRoad losses.
Yeah.
It's a calculated and a thought out strategy on what is our strength in which we want to play on LimeRoad. So LimeRoad is a e-commerce marketplace, but we have positioned it more as a omni enabler for the V Mart brands and the customer base. And that is where the traction is going to lead to. So increasingly, we are reducing our dependence on external or inorganic customer acquisition and increasing our attention to providing more ease to the customers who walk into V Mart stores to find products online. And that's the strategy around which we will keep playing and thereby keep reducing our losses. It should turn, break even or maybe not so profitable, but still, just around there in the next couple of years.
Okay. Well, Mr. Agarwal, like we said, slight paucity of time today, but we look forward to having a slightly longer conversation with you in March to understand the trends that are impacting the Indian consumer and your business as well. Thank you so much for speaking to us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.